I never knew that I would fall in love with a game like this. I never knew I needed a game like this until it was created and on my PlayStation. A game that takes a niche genre and gives it a budget unlike anything before it. A game that sets out to cater to its demographic, pushes the envelope for what people will assume about the game's quality, given its genre, and succeeds at defying those expectations. A modern-day AAA game that is a loud celebration of femininity, fashion, and fantasy, that blends elements of modern game sensibilities with old-school ones. This is my love letter to Infinity Nikki. If you haven't heard of Infinity Nikki before this video, allow me to enlighten you. Developed by Chinese gaming studio Infold, Infinity Nikki is the fifth installment of a long-running series of dress-up games for mobile phones. It is an open-world gacha dress-up game where you play as Nikki, a young girl who was getting ready for her graduation when her and her talking cat BFF Momo get isekai'd into a fantasy world, where she is told that she is destined to become a stylist and save the world from darkness through the power of the miracle outfits. In this world, called Miraland, stylists are the equivalent of magic users, making fashion a literal power used to bring justice, safety, and joy to everyone. You spend your time exploring the gorgeous world inch by inch, getting acquainted with different people, races, and civilizations, learning the various customs they carry, solving their problems, and coming up with dazzling looks for Nikki to strut around in. After all, saving the world feels better when you look good while doing it. First things first, you're probably still stuck on the genre. An open-world gacha dress-up game. So, is it a combat-focused game like Hoyoverse titles or Lula? What are you gambling on? Let me answer those questions real quick. Infinity Nikki is an interesting concoction of many different gameplay mechanics. It's a dress-up game first and foremost, where you enter these battles with other stylists called styling challenges, putting on your best outfit to get the most points possible. Some outfits also have abilities tied to them, whether they're for being aesthetic or for gameplay purposes. Outside of pulling for outfits in the gacha, you also receive many blueprints for free outfits, called sketches, where you forage materials from the world to create them. You can fish, groom animals, catch bugs, fight enemies, float, and glide. This is where the other genres come into play. Infinity Nikki is also a platformer, a collectathon platformer to be exact, full of the types of things you would expect from a classic game from the 90s. Colorful stages, obstacles, puzzles, and a simple combat system that consists of 2 attacks. Besides the styling challenges, the other major fights in this game are very reminiscent of the end zone bosses you'd find in 3D action platformers, giving this game an air of nostalgia for me personally. As you sink hours into this giant fantasy world, you'll be collecting a lot of things. From those forged materials to make clothing with, to items called Wimp Stars and Dews of Inspiration. Wimp Stars act as an important key for you to unlock nodes on a chart called the Heart of Infinity, where you gain access to lots of goodies, from ability enhancements, combat buffs, and clothing pieces. Most importantly, you will be unlocking access to sketches for the legendary miracle outfits here. Dews of Inspiration are used to give inspiration to Kilo the Cadenceborn, the cutest dragon ever, in exchange for various rewards such as diamonds, blings, threads, bubbles, and outfit sketches. So, let's do a mini recap. Infinity Nikki is a combination of open-world exploration, dress-up, and platformer. A high-budget GFG. Your main goal in the long-form MSQ is to craft all of the miracle outfits, and your main boss fights are divided between traditional pattern recognition platformer bosses and styling challenges, where you use the clothing you've collected and leveled up to win the challenge and get rewards. This bleeds into the main question for the game. Is the gacha problematic? Is it pay to win? Let's get into that. In this game, you get the featured 4 or 5-star outfit by receiving it in pieces. The amount of pieces that come with a full outfit varies slightly, and for a single pool it will cost you 120 diamonds, and a 10 pool will cost you 1200 diamonds. You will receive a 5-star piece every 20 wishes, and a 4-star piece every 10 wishes. There's a feature called Ocean's Blessings, where you can select your most desired article from an outfit to increase the chances of getting it every 20 wishes. So yes, in a worst case scenario, you'd need to do roughly 180 pulls to get your desired outfit piece if it refuses to show up beforehand. There are also things called evolutions, a recolored version of an outfit that you receive by owning 2 or more copies of the entire outfit. For some, this is achieved by simply crafting them again via the sketching menu, but for the limited outfits, it will require repeat wishing. Okay, I might have an unpopular opinion. While I can recognize that the setup for the gacha can lead to being greedy and predatory very quickly, I kinda think Infinity Nikki has the best gacha that I've played. I should probably take this moment to clarify that this is my first experience with anything made by Infold, as my experience with gacha games only extends to Hoyoverse titles, Wuthering Waves, and Ensemble Stars. As someone who has only spent a maximum of $25 so far, $4.99 for the monthly gift and $19.99 for the current Battle Pass, I haven't ran into any problems with the gacha screen. I feel like the game has such immaculate attention to detail that even minor accessories like bracelets or hair clips can be some of the most beautiful, and the game gives you so many free outfits as well as random individual pieces. While yes, wanting an entire 5-star outfit will wipe out your current diamond savings, I haven't felt upset by missing out on what I couldn't get by wishing, and I damn sure haven't felt pressure to spend money in the name of FOMO. Granted, I've managed to get the main attractions from the current list of limited 5 stars, like the wings from the fairy banner or the dress from the current fireworks banner, but this game gives you so many options for outfit creation, both in and out of the gacha, that it just doesn't feel like a necessity to have every last piece of a limited outfit. My player satisfaction has not taken a hit from not owning a complete 5-star banner outfit yet, because if I'm being honest, most of the outfits that I've made in this game so far, including some of my most favorite designs, are mostly made up of 4-star or lower pieces, with some exceptions, of course, like the fairy pieces I got from the first banner. Also, the cost of wishes is significantly lower in this game, out of the live service gachas that I've played. Genshin, Star Rail, and Wuwa all cost 160 and 1600 currency for a single pool and 10 pool, respectively. OnStars is the greediest fucking game that I know of, where a single pool costs 320 diamonds and a 10 pool costs 3200 diamonds, double the amount it takes to do the same on Nikki. Needless to say, I personally do not feel suffocated by Infinity Nikki's gacha. Also, limited 4-star outfits are genuinely so easy to acquire that a lot of fans feel like they're better than the 5-star ones. For the 4-star exclusive banners, you'll get 1 piece at least every 5 wishes, meaning that you can get an entire limited outfit while spending way fewer diamonds. And in case you were wondering if this game makes the 4-star outfits uglier on purpose than the 5-star ones, that is a non-existent problem here. When it comes to these gacha games, I think it really just boils down to your own self-discipline and how you enjoy the content. It's easy for me to say that this game's gachapon is not problematic, but I'm also old enough to not fall for FOMO or feel peer pressured by the community to go beyond what I care to do. As always, children and young teens should proceed with caution and be made fully aware of how the wishing systems in any of these games work before getting into them. And if you physically cannot enjoy the game because you feel the impulse to have every new shiny item that pops up on the gacha screen, I genuinely think you should take a step back from these games, as being careless with microtransactions and gambling can really flip your world upside down. Infinity Nikki does not feel like it's punishing you for not dipping into those diamonds every single banner cycle, and there is no metagame that doubles down on you and actively tries to influence your account. Yes, the Mirror Crown endgame content at the highest levels does happen to do styling challenges in the category of the current limited 5-star outfit, so it's not like the devs aren't trying to sell their 5 stars at all, but believe me when I say that this is not a Honkai Star Rail situation. If you know, you know. As far as cozy games go, Infinity Nikki has got to be among the cream of the crop. This game is absolutely stunning and radiates a warmth that's equivalent to a nice cup of coffee in the early morning before the rest of the world is up. There's a lot of qualities in the game's writing that has this essence of a children's magical girl show, with a lot of optimism, lighthearted earnesty, and a truckload of campiness. That's not to say that the game lacks any sort of depth, as the main story quests and lore can tackle some pretty heavy themes, but they're delivered in a way that keeps the game from feeling edgy or giving you tonal whiplash. Themes of racial discrimination, religion, death, greed, and corrupt justice systems will pop up as you advance through the main story, and this game's lore is shockingly deep. It's not only well written, with some surprising real-world references, but is implemented alongside the main story and can be found through environmental storytelling, not just optional text. Like I said though, things don't get too heavy to the point of feeling depressing or like you're suddenly playing a completely different game. So, you might shed a tear or two, but I feel that the game does a good job of balancing the lightness with the darkness. And at the end of the day, Infinity Nikki is still a positive, comfy game that is appropriate for all ages. For any parents or older siblings that find this video, you won't have to worry about blood or on-screen murder showing up on screen in front of the kids or anything super crazy like that. Everything manages to stay neatly tied in a PG colored bow. Infinity Nikki unlocked a nearly forgotten piece of my inner child. The little gay boy that loved Barbie and Bratz, who played with dolls exclusively and had zero interest in anything resembling an action figure if it wasn't related to Pokemon, Sonic, or WWE divas. I've never lost touch with my femininity by any means, but this game has made me feel more in tune with my feminine side than ever before, and it reminds me of how much fun I can have playing dress up and being as girly as I want. As a creative, I also feel inspired by this game. I find my imagination being exercised in a way that not a lot of other games have. And there's a sense of painting something on a canvas when you open that wardrobe screen and create a new outfit from scratch. The hairstyles, clothing, accessories, makeup, eurekas, every look I make from scratch feels like a miniature art project where I set out to take something conceptualized in my brain and turn it into reality through Nikki's appearance. Character customization as a creative outlet for self-expression is nothing new at this point, but I find that Infinity Nikki is one of the best games out right now for representing yourself through designs and aesthetics. While Nikki herself is not a self-insert, as she does have her own personality and everyone in Miraland calls her by her name, she is your vessel for creativity, and you can give her layers of personality through her design, as opposed to making headcanons for her behavior as a character. Is she a punk girl? A cottagecore girl, a tomboy, a fairy, a Disney princess? Nikki is the paper, and the game is your paintbrush, allowing you to create many vivid paintings with your wardrobe to make your very own fashion masterpieces. I get on this game and I feel inspired. I feel driven. I get the motivation to create stuff and not let myself block my own work. There's this feeling of stress relief that washes over me when I go to my wardrobe, reset my Nikki's appearance, and create a brand new look piece by piece based on whatever concept is in my mind. This comfort is supported by the game's difficulty never being too much to the point of stress. The open world is so well designed that it feels like it has endless discoveries, and the soundtrack is so high quality and magical with some truly beautiful arrangements. It all comes together to make this game one you can truly escape into. Infinity Nikki is an art project. It is, without any doubt in my mind, one of my favorite modern games in recent memory, alongside titles like Baldur's Gate 3, Little Goody Two Shoes, and Honkai Star Rail. It manages to itch my brain in so many ways, in areas that I didn't even realize existed within me before I started playing it. With the game being this well crafted, and the devs being receptive to player feedback in a positive way, such as removing the controversial time-limited wishes for limited banners, thank God, the future for Infinity Nikki looks so promising. I genuinely want this game to flourish and succeed, as this game feels so important in the gaming landscape. It's a game marketed for women that embraces femininity, devoid of fan service or elements that make it feel like it was made for a male fantasy rather than a universal one. A game where some of the most important figures in the world are women, but it's not some radicalist creation that shits on men at every turn, because I'm sure some obnoxious dude will find a way to accuse this game of being so. It's a breath of fresh air to play this game, and it's nice to see a game of this genre, of this style, be given the same kind of budget and attention to detail as other games on the current market. Infinity Nikki feels like something special, and I'm so thankful to be able to experience it. May stylists all over the world continue to feel inspired, comforted, and entertained by this beautiful game. And if you weren't aware of Infinity Nikki before, I hope I did a good job of convincing you to give it a shot. It might just be your new favorite game you didn't know you needed.